it's Ducati's revamped Monster 821. Looking at it immediately, you can see that it's extremely similar to its previous guys, aside from one glaring factor. It's this bright yellow Ducati yellow paintwork, and I love it. Unfortunately, I'm too young to remember the original Monster 900's debut in October 1992, but loads of people do remember extremely fondly that dramatic styling and sunshine yellow paint job. And so Ducati's decided to recreate that icon with the updated Monster 821. They've even gone so far as to call it the best balanced Monster, more beautiful and more sophisticated than its predecessors. But, as I mentioned before, in technical terms very little has changed. There's a new TFT dash, muffler and LED headlight, while the bike itself has inherited the streamlined muscly look of the Monster 1200, plus its tank. The tail has been fully redesigned and comes fitted with a cowl as standard. Available in one specification in 3 colours, the facelifted middleweight Monster is extremely easy on the eye, and in my opinion it looks best in that glorious Ducati yellow launch colour. But at £9,895 for the standard red model, and £200 more for either the dark stealth, or aka black, or yellow variants, it's not exactly easy on the wallet. With Triumph's Street Triple S costing only £8,200 and the MT09 range started from even less at £7,999, one question is on everyone's lips, and that is, has Ducati done enough to bring the Monster into 2018? Under the new tank, the 821 features the same Tesla Stretta 11-degree engine as seen in the previous model, which Ducati in fact made Euro 4 compliant at the beginning of this year. So making 109 horsepower at 9,250 revs and 63 pound-foot at 7,750, it's fun, easy and unintimidating, with progressive power throughout the rev range. But while there's ample power there, the long gears do mean that it lacks the urgent nature that gave the Monster its name. And while second gear's good, overall the rest feels slightly flat in every mode, of which there are 3: Sport, Touring and Urban. Sport offers full power of 109 horsepower with a direct ride-by-wire throttle response, reduced traction control and ABS, and rear wheel lift control disabled. Touring dials it back a tiny bit. There's still full power available, but it's delivered far more progressively. There's increased traction control and ABS, while rear wheel lift control is listed as moderate. Finally, Urban offers a limited 75 horsepower via again a progressive throttle response. Traction control and ABS are set to higher levels in order to maximise braking stability. So all 3 modes feel noticeably different from one another, and unsurprisingly Sport was my favourite. While Urban's high level of rider aids makes the Monster a very attractive inner city prospect, it could do with just a tiny bit more power to help you get ahead of traffic. These rider aids, comprising 8-level DTC and 3-level Bosch ABS, are unobtrusive in all modes and didn't kick in at all when I didn't need them. So it's fair to say that the Monster was not built for the broken roads around Rimini that our 110-mile test ride took in. There was potholes, cracks and mismatched tarmac which stretch as far as the eye can see, and they were pretty much enough to unsettle the bike in straight lines or bends. But back on solid ground, and the Monster was no longer a timid skittish pet. All 206 kilograms of the bike was agile and light, and it steered incredibly easily. And thanks to high ground clearance, there was no peg scraping unless you really pushed it. There's new for 2017 Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3s, which offered an average grip on the dodgy Italian tarmac. But once on more solid, smooth tarmac, they offered improved handling over the previous model. So, as I mentioned, the roads weren't the best proving ground for any motorcycle, let alone a middleweight naked with firm front forks. The non-adjustable 43mm inverted forks, which are left over from the previous model, made their firmness immediately noticeable as they sent shocks through my wrists and arms. The preload and rebound adjustable Sachs monoshock at the rear is reportedly set up for an 80 to 85 kilogram rider, however at 56 kilogram I found it to be incredibly bouncy, and even on smoother tarmac it still could have been firmer. The brakes felt sharp, arguably too much so for the 821. One squeeze of the adjustable lever and the Brembo radial brakes up front grab hold of the 2 320mm discs and bring the bike to a speedy stop. At the rear, another Brembo unit clings onto a single 245mm disc. While the Monster has come a long way since the 90s, it hasn't come that far since its previous guys. As you can see, it is basically the same bike. It's benefited from a new LED light, TFT screen, new exhaust silencer and a number of other elements. In its updated outfit, the 821 is indeed a very attractive Monster. It's sleek and compact, sitting on the sportier side of naked. and in my opinion it definitely looks the best in the launch colour of Ducati Yellow. So what are the updates that are seen to the new model? Well, there's a new LED headlight and a TFT dash, which boasts a different display for each riding mode. The dash is also compatible with the optional Ducati multimedia system. The new muffler mimics that of the 1200 Monster, while the muscly tank, complete with that contentious boot buckle clip, is a direct hand-me-down. The clip is so controversial because while a genuine throwback to the Monster of yesteryear, it doesn't actually serve to undo the tank on these newer models. In fact, there's bolts underneath which render the clip useless. Among the Monster 81's extensive optional equipment list is a quick shifter costing only £160 plus VAT. It takes it to around £192. While we all wanted to test this out on the launch, Ducati had unfortunately chosen not to add it onto the launch bikes. I don't know if I've mentioned, but one of my favourite parts of the new bike was the yellow colour. I'm probably biased as it's one of my favourite colours, but it does make the bike look absolutely wicked and is a genuine throwback to the 1992 Monster 900. But why on earth hasn't Ducati fitted that quick shifter as standard? For a bike so similar to its previous version, a quick shifter would be the ultimate game changer, and costing less than £200 should be a no-brainer. So has Ducati done enough to bring the 81 up to speed with its naked rivals? At first it doesn't appear so, as competitor models offer far more spec for a lower or similar price. For example, the Street Triple RS, at £10,100, only £5 more than the yellow and black variants, offers fully adjustable Showa suspension, 5 riding modes and a quick shifter as standard. Again, the £7,999 MT09 offers both adjustable suspension and a quick shift. But what neither of those have is a Monster's impeccable design, Ducati badge or impressive family tree, which spans the history of the modern naked machines.